Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. And today I have a process video for you in my Interleave Bible. It's been a minute since I have been in this Bible, but I feel like this kit needs to use all the things. All the things are so pretty, and I wanted lots of room for not just the decor, but for some notes and a verse card and all of those things. I am working on the July kit from ByTheWell4God, which is by invitation only. I believe the kit is completely sold out, but I'm going to link below just in case there's anything from the collection you want to pick up. I'll have that affiliate link below. And I was absolutely obsessed with the stamp set, and this is the one that comes with the kit. So in the main kit, this is the stamp set, which is a 4x6. I loved it so much, I could not wait to play with it. So the texture piece that came with the main kit as well was a piece of vellum. So I stamped this beautiful invitation of the Bride of Christ and the Lamb of God with stays on the vellum. And then with my VersaFine ink, I stamped on a couple of, and these are part of the pattern papers from the add-on set. You could have gotten those add-on papers, and I also have it in this beautiful like a old paper type beige, and also this kind of blends in beautifully in the Bible, and also this mauve pink. But I want to start off using this one because I want to create a background with the watercolors. So I'm going to create a beautiful watercolor background, and it's not going to be anything super super detailed. It's just gonna be color, and that way I can use and layer this beautiful invitation in this vellum. I'm gonna use this postcard because I want to add some journaling and some other things in the kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you on fast forward. I'm focusing on day one, the invitation. Starting off, this was so good, and I'm here in 2nd of Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 13. So let's go ahead and put you on fast forward. Let's dig in.
Okay, darling, something unique about the ByTheWell4God kits is that they come with a set of watercolors on a watercolor dot card, and I love using these for backgrounds. Some people think that to watercolor you need to be like an expert, but I am using this in a simple way. As you can see, I'm just using a light pink color to create waves across my page because what I really wanted to do was introduce some color to the background so my vellum can really pop off of that. So you see I bring that all the way to the bottom of the page, and I start off with this pink tone color because again I wanted a light color, and then I'm going to go and grab a more deeper, it's more like a mauve red color. Then I grab some of that and I add that as well just to create some contrast within the watercolor lines, and then I'm also going to add some splatters. The darker colors always make better splatters than the lighter colors because after they dry, they do lighten up a bit. So I use that red mauve color and then a color with the purple hues. I'll list below the colors that are on this watercolor dot card if you guys want. So after creating those waves, I then add lots of splatters. And again, I'm just creating an interesting background so that there's something in the background where behind where I'm going to put my vellum pieces, my die cuts, things like that. I also use the same watercolor, the purple hue one, to go ahead and highlight the verse that I'm focusing on here in 2nd of Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 13. So drying that off really well with my heat tool, now I'm going to go ahead and start layering my things. I knew that I wanted to use this vellum piece, but I also needed somewhere to write a quote, which was my takeaway from my Bible study time. So I grabbed the journaling card that's like a postcard. And then I'm going to use some of the items. I went ahead and fussy cut a lot of the items that came in the die cuts. Not all of the florals, but the ones that I knew were perfect for adding and tucking behind things. So I have those laid out here, and as you can see on the left-hand side, you see me go back to make sure I have that Matthew Henry quote handy. I use the Blue Letter Bible app on my tablet for that study. And so I just wanted to pull that over on the side so I can make sure I have it handy to add to my journaling card. So here I actually grab another die cut and I fussy cut it off camera. And then I'm going to use half of that die cut at the top just to create some interest and also to pull the layout up to the top. I grabbed some roller tape adhesive. I added to the back of that vellum, and I'm going to do the same thing with this flower and just tuck it behind. Another tip that I have is if you know you're not going to be able to see the full floral, cut that in half and save the other half for later. That way you can use that other half in another layout. Okay, so here, as you can see, I used half of the roller glue or roller adhesive for the portion that I knew was going to layer on my vellum, and then I used liquid glue for the portion that I knew would be paper on paper or the journaling card on my Bible. So the verse that I am focusing off reads, "But we ought to always give thanks to God for you, brothers beloved by the Lord, because God chose you as the firstfruits to be saved through sanctification by the Spirit and belief in the truth." And I love what Matthew Henry says in his commentary here. It says, "Being chosen of God, we must not live as we list. But if we are chosen to salvation as the end, we must be prepared for it by sanctification." And so I add that here on my journaling card, and I add that last word, sanctification. I add that with the stamp set, which is Necessary Words. That was an add-on stamp set for this month. And I add that with my VersaFine ink, and it kind of makes, since I'm writing in cursive, it makes that sanctification word a little bit more bold without using a lot of space. And I use my gold gel pen to also add a little bit of design around that word sanctification. And on the right side of the postcard, I add Matthew Henry's name, just so I remember that this was a quote from Matthew Henry. Okay, so down here, I am going to use a verse card. I had two verse cards pulled out. One was election and one was predestined. I'm using the one that says election because it just matched better. Both of them were verses that actually coordinate, and they are both from day one. But I wanted to use this one because this one just matched better. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fold the little corner here, and then I'm going to add a tiny attacher staple just for a little bit of texture. I'm going to also grab my Sharpie pen and I'm going to go all the way around. I don't have time to stitch this today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some faux stitch lines all the way around my card, and it still gives a little bit of dimension and just adds a little something to this little flashcard. Okay, so now that I have that settled here, my thought was to use this seal that has the T on it because this one has the verse that I'm working on, the 2nd of Thessalonians verse 2nd of Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 13, but it just didn't match with the spread. So I'm going to add a little bit of washi under my postcard, just creating more layers. And then I dig through my stash because I knew I had some faux wax seals that I picked up at the Dollar Tree for only $1.25. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and add my verse card, and then instead of using the seal that came with the kit, that also came with the main kit, I'm going to actually use my faux wax seals, and it actually adds a little bit more texture. It has a little bit more of that gold. And I grab the clear stickers so I can add the verse here since I could not use that seal. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now grabbing and going through some things. Here are those beautiful wax seals, and you also have some white paper seals. You have a number of different things that you can work with. I use this one because I just thought it was beautiful. It had the perfect colors, and it added some of that gold as well. Then I'm going to move on to the top right-hand corner of the page. I knew I wanted to add a number. I had two options. I could either use these rub-ons. These rub-ons are also from the Dollar Tree, and they kind of give me Tim Holtz kind of feel. But I couldn't find a number one that really would stand out. So I grabbed my Matthew number set. I love this number set. I feel like I use it all the time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the frame so I can also add some more gold detailing. And that's just going to bring some more of that gold element to the page. And then what I'll do is I inked up only a portion of the frame because I had already adhered down all of these pieces and I couldn't pull it all up. So I went ahead and just got a portion of the frame inked up. And then I'm going to grab the number one and I'll pull down the flower just a little bit so I can go ahead and add the number one right in the center. Now, because of that, I had a little piece of the petal that was going to cover up. So after I go ahead and add all of my gold with this gold pen, which I absolutely love, after I add some of that gold detailing, I'm going to outline the number one, and then you'll see me kind of tear that little piece of that petal, and then I'll cut off the piece that I don't need. That way, you can kind of see that number one a little bit better tucked back there. Okay, so adding a little bit more gold detail. As I was doing this, I thought to myself, what else can I add gold to? And then I remembered that I had purchased a ink dropper, and I'll list the name below because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it has the most beautiful gold sheen. And the one thing I'll say about it is the gold is absolutely precious, but the dropper it really has really big drops when you use it, which is great for like a big mixed media palette. But this is kind of a smaller area, so the drops looked a little big, but it's fine because what I did was I added a little bit of water to it. I spread around some of that color. I splattered it, but what I'll definitely do next time is use a brush. That way I can pick up some of the gold and then flick it on the background if I was going to use it to just create splatters. Okay, picking up some of that gold, and then I'll grab my heat tool. I also added some gold onto some of those cards just to add a little bit more interest to those cards and to run that gold around. And that wraps up this page. If you are new here, I hope you consider subscribing. Hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. I'm going to give you one last look at this page, slow down the picture for you. Do not forget to check out that description box. I will list everything below, the kit, the different items that I use, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless. Bye.